What a time to be alive. Marathon is on there. 20k concurrent players officially. And it's only gonna get worse. Marathon's days are numbered. It's a disaster. And man, I have to say, it's a disaster that lasted a pretty long time. I mean, it legitimately has survived for almost a whole month. More than my average relationship. 10 out of 10, in fact. Man, I should have worn a suit, honestly, for this. At least we have the hair trim, bruh. But in any case, boys, it's over. It's absolutely over. I predicted that this is going to happen. Admittedly, I predicted that this is going to happen at Monday, but I do you think, by the way, Bungie viewbotted here or did some kind of shenanigans? Because look at this graph. Look at this beautiful, strange, awkward, ununderstandable graph right here. So we have this peak right here, and this is roughly the 2 a.m. for our Meta friends peak. And then there's the other one that's roughly around 8 p.m. Okay? The 8 and 9 p.m. peak, and then the 2 a.m. peak. And then, for some reason, here it just swaps around. Interesting. How did this happen? I wonder. Interesting. And it's completely inverted. Now, granted, this has happened for Marathon, I think 3 times before, but it's a little bit strange and a little bit conspicuous, if you ask me. And now it's Tuesday. I said that this is going to happen Monday. Well, Bungie maybe pulled off some strings and it didn't happen. But now it's official. Look at this. The official... Actually, no, this is Monday. Oops, my bad. The official Monday peak was 19k. Beautiful. And it's only going to get worse. Today is Tuesday, and it's going to be even below that. Actually, if we refresh this, what kind of info? Oh, it's the thing. This is the server update or whatever. But yeah, it's not looking good no matter server update or not. Marathon is completely dead. No one's talking about it on Twitter. No one cares. I mean, no one ever cared to talk about Marathon in the first place. I'm pretty sure the only person protecting Marathon at this point is Shroud, who's saying it's good. And a bunch of people now are openly admitting that Marathon is too hard and too elitist, and that the people currently playing it are driving away other people because they're elitist. And I actually see this. I think this is very obvious. Because Marathon, after not gaining a massive wide audience, did pivot extremely to the, oh, we're the hardcore game. Yeah, no easy mode here. You spawn into the map and then you die just because. Which is the dumbest fucking game design ever, by the way. Who thought that that's a good idea? Who thought that that's a good idea at Bungie? Well, considering the type of people working at Bungie, I'm surprised they even have ideas, honestly, considering the typical average Bungie employee looks like a side character from the fucking bad Shrek movies. It is what it is, boys. It is what it is. But in any case, 20k is a very substantial thing to miss. Because you need to understand, the less people are playing Marathon, the more people are going to quit faster. First of all, no one obviously wants to play the losing game. Okay? No one wants to play the losing game. What do we have? We have Arc Raiders, we have Marathon, and we have the new Windrose thing. Okay? Let's look at these things also. No one wants to be playing the loser game. Look at Arc Raiders. Arc Raiders did absolutely lose a huge chunk of people recently in the past couple of months. And that is not because, by the way, because of Marathon. But yes, Arc Raiders has been down for the last 3-4 months pretty heavily. None of the updates have really been received that well. Shrouded Sky doesn't seem that good. People did like Cold Snap. Cold Snap was pretty biss, not gonna lie. It was at least interesting. But here, nothing interesting has been added, and the game's kind of losing its luster. Marathon is not responsible for that. Oh, I opened another Marathon? What the hell? Windrose, the new game that's coming out, by the way, doing absolutely amazingly. Obviously, here this was their peak. This is how a good game looks. It goes up and then it goes down. Marathon, if we look at its overall thing, is, I mean, this is a slope I could I could drive down and drive down on skis or in a sled or something and have a little bit of fun. You know what I'm saying? This is your absolute peak performance slope. This is something that got released and then decided life is not worth living in the greatest ways fashionable, except Shroud. Shroud is, I'm pretty sure, the only person that's keeping Marathon alive at this point. Honestly, it's pretty insane. All the statistics for Marathon are currently bad. The fake positivity that Marathon had, the hashtag "Or Creators is over," that Marathon's gonna take over, that went nowhere. I'm pretty sure that was not even real. That was something that Bungie spent money on creating and crafting and popularizing, most likely. Even if Marathon, by the way, obviously, some people don't know this. If you're new here, welcome. Some people don't know this, but even if Marathon achieved 100k players, it would not have mattered because, as we all know, Marathon is supposed to be the Destiny, the new Destiny, effectively. Marathon's whole point was replacing Destiny. And Destiny was effectively considered dead roughly when it had 50 concurrent players. 50k. And that's not something you want to hear. That is a very, very worrisome statistic. The fact that Destiny was considered dead when it had 50k players. Marathon barely got above 50k on its release. Now, granted, Marathon did have this thing where its collapse was very slow, to be honest. I talked about this previously, but anyone who says that Marathon's collapse was slow, lying. Was fast is lying. Marathon's collapse was slow. If you go and watch my earlier videos talking about Marathon's numbers, you will see that I am very amazed how slowly Marathon is losing people, because there were days when Marathon literally lost effectively the grand equivalent of almost no one, which is kind of crazy. Now, obviously, you see a downward slope, but that's because this is now an average from the day's peak and the day's minimum. So that's how that works. So that's why you see a constant downward shift, if you're wondering, by the way. But yeah, nothing is saving Marathon. At this point, I will not be surprised to hear people talk about it on Twitter that Marathon is having trouble with matchmaking. Marathon already has had a strange time at matchmaking because there's a huge group of people who want PvE to be a separate thing, but considering how fucking stupid and insanely poor the final boss of Marathon is, the compiler, the collector, whatever the hell he's called, how absolutely bad that thing is. I mean, I don't know if that's even a high group of people that want a PvE experience with Marathon. But the point is, there's still a group of people who want a PvE experience and a PvP experience. And needless to say, the PvP people love the PvE people because they can just kill them and farm them and make them feel good. But the PvE people don't like that. And they're leaving. They're gonna leave in droves. Because Marathon, I never played Marathon, but I'm assuming it did it. It did the same thing as Arc Raiders. It probably took people who are really bad in PvP and put them together in a nice little ball of losers. And then they took in and sprinkled a little bit of people who like only to do PvE activities. And they put them in a lobby. And so they didn't leave. Now that the player base is shrinking even more dramatically, and again, Tuesday, Wednesday is going to be when the player base shrinks even more. And on Thursday, it's going to start to go up. Friday is going to be the peak. Saturday, Sunday, a little bit of a drop. And Monday, it's going to be... At this point, I actually haven't checked that much what's it doing. So I can't give you an accurate estimate. Because, by the way, 19.2k was my estimate for Monday when it goes below 20 right today, by the way. That was my estimate. I'm literally off by 162 players, which is pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, that's pretty good. That's pretty impressive prediction capabilities right here. So I don't know how much it's gonna be next Monday because I am not following these numbers that much now. I haven't followed them in the past couple of days since I was just waiting for Monday, so I can't give you an estimate. But I would not be surprised if the next Monday's drop is like 15k. Because again, the problems in matchmaking are gonna become very apparent. All the people who want to play for PvE are pretty much gonna leave because it's either they get matched into people who want PvP or they wait like probably like I don't know like 1 hour for a match, which no one is doing. So there's gonna be this point where the matchmaking can't support these two groups of people as a general rule. And that's when a lot of them are gonna leave. And I'm waiting for this moment to happen now. When it's gonna happen, I have honestly no clue. It's a thing that must happen because these things happen with population collapses as a default. But when is the default? I don't know. A 20k has been considered like when matchmaking collapses as like a slight benchmark, but it's an unofficial benchmark, so I don't even know how true that is. I just have heard that this is considered a benchmark, but again, I personally don't know if that's true. Just telling you how it is, boys. But in any case, I would not be surprised that next Monday Marathon is around 15k, which would be a tremendously huge drop. Which would be tremendously huge because when a population gets small enough, then it's only the most dedicated players. But we still haven't seen the collapse fully, so I think it's possible. And when that happens, I mean, it's completely over. As we all know, it's already completely over. Marathon never stood a chance. It looked like garbage. It looked like garbage. Let's be real. And it was supposed to replace Destiny, but I mean, again, we're talking about a thing that didn't even hit 100k concurrents. So it would never have made enough money for Bungie to sustain operations. So whatever Bungie does, it's gonna probably fire some people. There is no game that Bungie is trying to make right now, as far as I know. Maybe they are, they probably are. Maybe it's Destiny 3. Let's be real, at this point, it's time to pull out Destiny 3 because what else are you honestly gonna do, am I right? I mean, Bungie has no chance. And Sony probably needs Bungie alive because otherwise they literally spend a couple of billion into something that literally has not even made a single goddamn cent to them. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.